Hey kids, welcome back to Honestville. Last episode, we laid the groundwork for this kind of highway ring road, sort of inner city highway ring road. And I have been thinking a bit about it. I mean, as I mentioned last episode, I will be changing the route of this. It's not going to be this kind of boxy. I'm hoping anyway that it's not going to be quite this boxy. I just kind of wanted to lay it down and kind of reserve space for it, so that as we expand the city, if I don't start building highways at some point, I end up just expanding the city, and then it becomes harder to kind of imagine where things are going. So I wanted to get it down, and also get down the basis of the rail system more or less, in terms of where the rail system is going to go, and what purpose it's going to sort of serve and stuff. So we'll continue to expand on that as we build the city. I was thinking about like the original goals of this series, and that was to create a city that was kind of at a realistic scale and that had realistic demographics, and that's why I'm using the residential Halver mod, and just generally have trying to build a city that has a realistic size and density, compared as like a sort of maybe a Eastern North American city, or East Coast North American city, or a European city, sort of Northern European city. And I was actually looking. I was looking around because I was looking at this highway loop the other day. I was thinking about it, and I was looking at like Google Maps of cities and measuring how far their inner highway loop was from the downtown. Now, some American cities, like if you look at Boston, for example, there really is a very tight highway loop, and then there's obviously the Big Dig tunnel that runs right through central Boston. Some American cities and even some European cities have like downtown expressways that just run right through the city, but most of them, or a good number of the larger ones like London and Paris, have basically no expressways running in the old inner city, and I was kind of going more for that model for the city. That's the model that I generally prefer for my cities. But I was measuring, like, in various cities how far the highway is, and keeping in mind that one large tile is about 4 kilometers. We've actually kind of staggered this out a bit, so it's probably about 4 kilometers from, say, the heart of the sort of inner part of the city, 3 to 4 kilometers, depending on where you draw the angle. So it's actually a fairly tight ring. If we're thinking about this city on a realistic scale, it's actually a fairly tight highway ring, even though it doesn't actually enter into the central tile. And I'm kind of curious. I'm genuinely curious to see how that is going to function in terms of the game. We might have a few spurs of it that just kind of go into the city and kind of turn into boulevards or something. But I don't think we're going to have highways actually crossing into the central city. We'll see. I may change my mind on that, but I'll be curious to see how the traffic is handled and how regional traffic flows, and whether we're able to kind of convince the simulator to let us build a city that is ultimately fairly similar to certain European cities. So that was my big thought about the highway since I made last episode, and we're gonna dive in here. I have some name recommendations. First thing to get out of the way here, I have some name recommendations from you guys in the comments. So we're gonna do that right away. We're gonna have to wait through this quick loading time. Another thing I've been thinking about while I wait for this to load here, because I'm too lazy to edit out loading screens. While I wait for this to load here, I've also been thinking about the arteries. Like the last few episodes, I've been doing things like upgrading roads to avenues, and I've been wanting to do some more work using the network widening mod, which will essentially allow us to put 4-lane avenue type roads, or higher capacity roads, or even higher capacity one-way roads, on one tile networks. And I think that that's going to be a better way to upgrade. I mostly just changed from road to avenue out of old habit, from playing with the vanilla streets for like ages and ages, and never quite got used to the network widening mod. But I have been playing around with it. I was actually playing around with it on the Twitch recently, and my most recent Monday evening Twitch stream, which you guys should check out. And I just found that it was really useful, and I think with some of the latest iterations of the network add-on mod, it's actually become much easier to use those networks. So, I'm not going to bother to go back and replace some of these avenues that I've already laid. We'll just kind of grandfather them into the city. But as I need to upgrade these arterial roads, I'm going to try as much as possible to use the network widening mod options rather than the 2-tile networks, and we'll see how well that works as well. And that will make it a little bit less painstaking to do those upgrades. So I have, let me see here, it looks like I've got 5 name recommendations. First of all, Mail Ale recommended that I name a football stadium Arrowhead in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl, I guess. I don't really follow American football. It's got too much play stoppage for me, man, but I thought that was a cool idea, and I realized that I don't think, unless I'm completely forgetting, I don't think that there is a American football stadium in this game. So I went online and I went on Centropolis and I downloaded one. And so that's cool. It's kind of cool when one of you guys comments, prompts me to just download a simple thing like this. So I found a football field. It looks like I think it's an older, an older mod, but it is pretty nice looking. And I'm thinking I'm just going to find a spot for it. And then this city will have a football stadium. So let's do that first. There's another little surprise I want to show you. I've scrolled by it a few times. There's another couple of let's put it here, and this avenue here again. Well, that's a bad idea actually. Let's put it here to be safe, because I don't know how I'm gonna fix this and transition it into some kind of network widening mod. Right. So let's take a little look at this here. It's just called Football Stadium. I think if someone requests it, I'll put a link to the mod. But it's pretty easy to find. If you just search American Football Stadium on Centropolis, you'll find it. Football field, I guess. But it's pretty nice. It's not bad. I like the grass texture, and got the yard markers here. I wonder if it's to scale. I'd be very curious to know if it's to scale. My instinct is to say that it's not, but that would be kind of interesting to know. Anyway, let's name it. We'll call it Arrowhead Field. I do have a very good friend who's from Kansas City, and I did once watch a baseball game where Kansas City was playing Toronto. Baseball is another sport that I just don't really watch. But it was funny because even though I live in Montreal in Canada, I was in a bar full of people cheering for Toronto. And because I was with my friend from Kansas, and because I don't particularly have a favorite team, I was cheering for Kansas City, much to the dismay of everyone else in the bar, and we had a blast. There were friends of ours at the table were quite upset with us for cheering for the wrong team, and we were quite happy to do so. So that anecdote aside. I've got a couple of other... Okay, there's a couple naming recommendations for the highways, so I'm going to put those aside for now. And then there's a couple neighborhoods. I wonder if we have space for another... oh, yeah, okay. So Connor O'Neill requested Freebish Town, and I think he requested it for an area close to Dexterville, if I recall correctly. I should have taken a note of that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. And so we'll just take this stretch kind of west of the railroad track. So there we go. Thanks, Connor O'Neill, for your continuing support and naming suggestions on this channel. And yeah, there's a couple highway recommendations, and then there's another neighborhood recommendation, but I don't want to try and stuff too many neighborhoods in this city. I mean, we still have space though. We could probably fit one more neighborhood in this area that's already built here. I mean, yeah, I kind of like to imagine these neighborhoods as fairly small. Maybe the neighborhood centered around this square here. Did we name this square? No. Okay. So there's lots of potential there. Maybe this neighborhood here, it was Festa Zombie who requested Amityville, which, sometimes you guys make these recommendations and they're like a reference to something, and I don't know what the reference is because like I haven't seen the movie or something. But I guess that's like a horror. That's like the setting of a horror film or something. I looked it up. Like I googled it and looked at it for like 20 seconds. I didn't go down like a wormhole where I like. But that's a funny name for a neighborhood, and it's a suitable thing to do because today is, depending on when you watch this video, today may or may not be Halloween. So that's pretty hilarious. I hope I'm not getting that reference wrong either. But sometimes you guys make reference to things, and I end up just looking it up because I have no bloody idea what it is. So and then there's a couple of highway naming recommendations. So we're gonna hold off on that. When I pop out to the region view, we'll do that. For this episode, I have been thinking that I'm gonna try and I think I want to expand outward from this city. I think I want to resist the temptation to go into adjacent tiles and really build. Now that we've laid down the network, I want to build outward. There's one more thing I did off screen, mostly because it involves cheating. Like it's probably one of the only times in the series that I've actually, used a cheat code. Not that I have anything against that, but this is the. I thought, I was thinking about like what station would be the central station for this kind of metropolitan area, and there's lots of train stations on Simtropolis. But you know what? I actually like the Grand Railroad Station from the Maxis Rewards. And the thing about this railroad station is that you cannot I'm pretty sure it's impossible to unlock this via the rewards. Like if you go in the rewards here, let's just find it because it's buried in all of my batshit crazy network add-on mod stuff. Yeah, you have to have at least one small station used near capacity. Now, if we look at the small station, it's got a passenger capacity of 24,000. So I've done a few experiments where I basically would build a very large city where all the jobs were in one tile, and I put only one passenger train station to serve all those jobs, and then I didn't connect it to anything else, so they had to take the train. And I don't even think that then I was able to get the passenger train. I wasn't able to unlock the reward. I don't remember whether I actually filled the capacity of the train station. The capacity there might be changed by the mod as well, but from everything I've read, unless I'm mistaken, and it may be possible, depending on what your mod configuration is, but from what I understand, yeah, because you need to have residential and commercial population of 172,000, and at least one small station used near capacity, and there's just it would be nearly impossible to get that to happen, or possibly just straight up impossible to get that to happen. The populations you can get to, you can easily, with the vanilla configuration, you can easily get to these populations that 172,000 in a single tile. That's no problem. But to try and force them to all heavily use one train station is pretty unlikely, because they're going to be using roads within the city to move around. So anyway, it's an interesting one that was kind of always broken. So I did use the Control X cheat console, and I think the cheat is you don't deserve it, and that just unlocks all of the rewards. And I placed it, and then now I've reloaded the game so that I don't want to have everything unlocked here. It's actually kind of annoying to play with that because then you don't know what rewards you've placed and what rewards you haven't. So yeah. So that's done, and that will be our grand rail station for the whole city. I'm going to probably want to upgrade some of these roads. That would be an excellent choice for a naming suggestion if one of you guys is feeling creative. But I quite like that station. I like the way. The interesting thing about the station too is that you can actually plug, it's got these 3 rails, which delightfully are transit enabled and do function with the upgraded network add-on mods, real railway stuff. So it integrates quite smoothly into our existing network. I also carefully flattened this road so that none of you guys would say that the road in front of my Grand Central Station was too lumpy, and I made a nice little underpass here, which actually kind of looks nice. Super flat, everything. But you can also run a 4th rail here if you want, and it will, as long as it's touching this. I made one of these once where I put I had a million spurs going to all my cities, and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a bunch of rails all converging on this point, and they all functioned. They all went to the station even though they didn't actually connect up. So you can turn this into a mega hub just because it's so large as a tile. and I quite like it. I wanted a station that was rail only. I didn't want some like futuristic looking thing either. This is kind of a almost more late 19th century, maybe early 20th century style rail station. So I quite like that. I quite like it, and I thought let's go with that, and I will continue to look at other options for the kind of neighborhood train stations that we put elsewhere. Speaking of train stations, do we have one in this city? Over here? Dexterville has a station. Okay. I'm probably going to want to put a few more stations along this route for sure, one or two. But I don't really want this to become the main urban transit method. On that note, though, let's run the clock. I've talked enough. I've blabbed enough here. Let's just taking a look at things here. Let's just run the clock a bit and see what happens with demand. I will go next door if we need to, build some industry. Yeah, we've got a bunch of office demand, which is probably coming from the neighboring cities. So I'm just going to let that develop a bit. I'm not going to zone too much commercial. I would actually rather a lot of the low-end commercial go into the neighboring cities. We're also getting some high-tech demand and lots of residential demand. So we're gonna expand this city with residential streets. I'm trying to think about where I would like to put some high-tech industry for now, though. And it might be nice. Maybe we can start by filling out just the areas along this rail route. Let's see if we can get some high-tech industry in this little triangle here, because that would be super cool. So let's just take a street, and I think we're gonna do. Maybe we'll do something like. I don't want to go over that angle because that's a weird angle. But maybe we will build one of these overpassy things that the kind of cheap and easy ones here. Well, or I could do a proper one. I don't think it'll fit. Will it? Maybe it'll fit. A flup. Do I want to do yet another flup? I should. I'm gonna try and do some road viaducts as well. Yeah, see, I don't think it will fit here. No. Okay. Let's see if I can fit then one of the kind of cheap and dirty ones here. They're kind of lumpy, but they should work. I think I'm gonna need to rampage through the neighborhood again. Man, these sims just must. Oh, I'm not using the right one. That's the problem here. Okay. Why won't? Okay, it won't go there because it doesn't have enough tiles. Okay. Let's just make sure it has lots of space to breathe. Anybody who lives in these cities is probably just like, oh, I hope Mayor Rob doesn't show up in our neighborhood. Like, when he showed up in my mom's neighborhood, like everyone just had to move, just bulldoze the whole bloody neighborhood. Yeah, is my mayor name even Rob? I don't even know. I don't even remember. It's been so long since I set this region up. All right, so that will do. And yeah, I'm just gonna make a little basic grid. Actually, we don't even really need. We can even just do like a little loop here. We probably don't need much at all. Maybe even like a cul-de-sac here. Oh, that's probably enough. We probably don't need more street than that to get the industry to build up. Let's see how much we can get to build up within this little block here. Okay. Right, and then this unfortunately is just not usable. Excuse me. Right, and then I think I'll just continue. I think I'll develop. We're going to need lots of high-tech industry, and at some point I may decide to get rid of, kind of reconfigure this and get rid of some of the industry in this area. But for now, that's what we're going to do. And diagonal streets. Why? Okay. Honestly, I've looked at this city a few times when I was just brainstorming ideas for what to do in these episodes, and I have looked at it and been like, why did I commit to building all these fucking diagonal streets? But it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay, guys, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. I will use the hotkeys. Build the city. Yep. I've been playing a lot of New City. I've been playing a lot of New City lately, and mostly I had sort of put that game down actually for a while. Not because I I mean, you'll notice that my Let's Play for that game kind of abruptly ended. I am intending to do more videos in that game. Part of the reason Part of the reason was that I am actually below specs for my PC. I have like a moderately like mid-end system, let's say. I don't consider myself to have like a high-end gaming rig, but like my video card is perfectly fine for almost anything I ever do with it. I went a little bit low end. I kind of lowballed on the processor though. I sort of saved some money getting a cheaper processor, and the bottleneck with New City is absolutely my processor. I can remember someone in the comments said, "Oh, just turn the graphics down. It'll be fine. You can keep doing the Let's Play." And it doesn't like it. It will give me a slightly higher frame rate, but the bottleneck is not. The bottleneck is not the. I'm not sure. Not quite sure I like what I've done with these streets here, but whatever. It can always be redone. I'm just trying to make this functional and fill it with industry quickly. I don't really particularly want to do a whole design here for now. Yeah, but so yeah, there is a bottleneck in terms of my processor, and that's a challenge. That game has a huge number of agents. Essentially, every single inhabitant is like modeled in real time as they like move around the world, and so once your city gets to like 100,000, if you don't have a good processor, you're just fucked. Like the game will just run slower and slower and slower until it basically chugs to a stop, chugs to a halt. Now I have figured out that I can make that game. The game is fine as long as I don't run it on the fastest speed, and as long as I like zoom way the fuck in whenever I do want to turn the speed up. And I was able to build a city of like maybe 180,000 without having it chug too much. So I will eventually just upgrade my processor, but like, money and shit. But I will also do some videos in that game, continue to do some videos in that game, despite the performance issues, and I will simply do a combination of doing a little bit of work off screen if I have to like slow the game down to make it function, and then also just zoom in and use other tricks to avoid having the performance severely drop on screen. Because I think laggy performance on screen. You're noticing that this game is actually lagging a bit too, just because SimCity 4. I think laggy performance in videos is kind of unpleasant to watch. That's my impression. Depends on the person, but I think overall most people prefer to watch something that isn't laggy, and it's just so. But anyway, I was looking at. I was also like kind of trying to learn to play the game better. New City in particular, trying to figure out like how to make it work. And honestly, I basically still haven't. I've been experimenting extensively with like street grid designs and how to just kind of expand a city in a somewhat systematic way and just make a city big. So if I do play a New City region, I'm probably going to have a very simple goal, like, let's make this city as dense and big as possible. It's not going to be kind of a creative design in the sense of what I'm doing here or whatever. It'll be just a very simple goal to try and see if we can get the game to just build big cities. What's getting better at, though? Ooh, they've got a very busy street here. This could be a strong candidate for... That's just bus traffic. Holy fuck, this street must be, yeah. So that is a very good candidate for a network widening mod upgrade. Now I wonder if this train station, if the FLUP will work with the network widening mod, and I have a feeling that the answer is no. So that might be a thing where it like widens to a 2-tile avenue for the FLUP, and then it narrows again afterwards, and that's fine. I have not yet bothered to figure out the solution to the highway neighbor connections thing that I was dealing with last episode. I literally just haven't spent much time. I did a little bit of research at one point on Symptopolis, and I should probably, I may even like message someone and see if I can get in touch with someone who can direct me towards. I just can't remember the and like a few of you have said things like, just read the network Addon Mod instructions, and like I know about that, and they're semi clear. I'm just not like I can go fix them and just kind of hope that they work, but I would rather actually figure out and understand how they work. So yeah, I will do that eventually. But I'm also, if I am at all displeased with how they work, then I am gonna do shit like just use the Maxis highway for the neighbor connection, because I want shit to function. So we're, I'm sure we'll find a solution one way or another. Okay, let's let this develop and see what that does to our residential demand. Probably going to substantially increase it. I'm not seeing any demand for dirty industry or manufacturing. So we may actually have used up all of the interesting. I do need to think about power plant solutions for this region, because we are probably hitting the limit here. Well, they want an airport too. I could think about putting an airport. Yeah, we're going to hit the limit for this power station at some point. And I don't know, what I might need to do, so my initial idea for the power plant was to have one power plant in the central city, because it connects to all of the other wards, right? So all the power can come from one city. And I just don't know, like, what's the capacity of the hydrogen one? I'd have to find. We might be able to build a bigger version of that giant one. Like, one of these ones has 600,000 megawatts. This is the huge one that I couldn't get to build. If you guys remember, it kept saying terrain too steep. But I might place the bigger version of this. Is this the bigger version? I might have to move this to another neighborhood and place the bigger version of it somewhere in this city, and then we can probably power the whole region. So I should probably think about doing that, because the one that we've placed is only 100,000, and I think with 600,000 we could get close to powering the whole region. I think when it truly fills out, we'll definitely need more, but like, we're at 45,000 with 2 half-developed tiles. So we're going to need. I think I'll build the bigger one, and I think I'll move it to another neighborhood as well. It's kind of in the way where it is. I think that one's going to close, but I love that power station, and I want it to be kind of permanently in the city, even though they should absolutely divest from coal, because that shit's like super dirty for the environment. Anyway, I want this to develop. Is it not developing because of desirability? Probably not. I don't think. It's probably fine. Let's double check here. Maybe not. I think the traffic pollution is probably causing a little bit of. Oh, it's not that bad. No, this honestly should not. This should probably, hopefully, maybe develop. Yeah. Interesting. Do we have like police in the city? No, not a single police station. God. Man, that is fucking hilarious. Let's put some police stations down. Should we put some police stations down? I think we should. God, that's why we have 3 million in the bank, just because like we're just not offering any services. Maybe I'll use one of Matt B525's gigantic police stations. Maybe we'll try and not build police stations every 6 blocks. I am using a radius doubler. But let's plop this one down. Well, let's take a look here. This is a really beautiful. It's the old New York City Police Headquarters. Where did I put the City Hall? God, I don't even remember. Did I even place it? Probably. Like, I'd almost like to create an institutional kind of government district park. Okay, there's a church. Like, this is the central train station. Where is the City Hall? Man, that's one thing in SimCity 4. When you're on a big tile like this, and you place, like, a building like the City Hall... There it is. It's over here. Okay, so I did kind of build a government square. Right. And then I forgot about it. See, that also happens. And this is fairly central-ish. Alright, well, let's put the Central Police Headquarters, which is not there, which is up here. I've got 2 of them. I should have 2. There's also the London Metropolitan Police Headquarters, which is really neat as well. That might even be better for this kind of block design here. They're both really cool buildings. Could be nice to put it like here. Let's try the London one for now. Well, I don't, whoa. I don't remember what it looks like. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's the old London Metropolitan Police headquarters, I think. Metropolitan Police Department. I wonder if it has any roadways where the traffic's driving the wrong way. Yep. That looks to me like a truck driving on the left side, exiting like a garage. So that's pretty funny. It's not transit enabled, obviously, so it doesn't actually matter, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think that's a cool building. It looks like one of those London buildings from the 70s that's like still covered in soot. Now that there's like not coal and wood fires burning in the city, like a lot of the older buildings actually look less old than they did 30 years ago, because they've just like cleaned off all of the soot from decades of like dirty, like just decades of pollution. Let's take a look at the traffic on this rail line. And then what I'm going to do is build a residential neighborhood, I think, not, I want to look at rail traffic. Passenger train. Okay, so they're just kind of going back and forth between, because there's no station out here either. Think about putting a station out there eventually. To look and see, it'd be nice to find some stations that work well in the diagonal. Okay, and then let's think about building a neighborhood. Maybe I'll build a neighborhood kind of around the central train station here. And I want to try and integrate some parks into this neighborhood, because I'm just so bad at doing that. I just never... Oh yeah, I also want to look a bit at the street grid here. Let's complete the street grid, the kind of arterial road here, because I was looking at it, and I was looking at the neighboring tiles, and it needs some... I'm going to go with the level crossings for now. I'll fix them later. So like we need something like that for sure. It just needs to be there, so that the other city kind of makes logical sense. Everything else looks pretty good. I don't think I'm missing any other arteries. Does that run? Yeah, that runs straight through the whole city, pretty much, that. And then it just kind of curves over here, and then it just keeps going. So that's pretty good. Having that entire street cross the city. And everything else looks pretty okay. You don't need another crossing here for sure, because this is a really long, circuitous... Actually, one way I can solve the traffic issues that we're having there is by just giving these people another way to get into Dexterville. Dexterville probably needs another flup, a second flup, and yeah. Okay, so that's all fine. I'm gonna just take a quick look here. If we're gonna build another neighborhood, we need to think a little bit about, there needs to be like another arterial ring road around the edge of the city here. There's another, we also need something that does this. I'll make all the junctions look nicer after. Okay, guys, I promise. I promise, and also I don't promise, because I'll forget, and just nag me about it in the comments, and that's fine. Okay, so that's good, and then just leave that like that for now, just so that we have a sense. That's kind of cool. Have a little diagonal thingy there. Yeah, let's build a neighborhood around the station. And try and think about, so the station is facing this way, which it kind of had to line up with the railroad. One thing I can do to start is create a little park in front of the station. Let's do that. Let's just do maybe something like this size. And I'm going to redo the zones around it. So the buildings, I like it when the buildings all face inward towards the park. I think that's cool. And just kind of do something like this. Yep, that makes sense. And we'll just make them all commercial. And force them to face the right direction. Thank you. Right. This one's... I don't think I can make that... You know what I can do? And this is a neat trick for those of you who want to force buildings to build in a certain way, and sometimes they still won't. Just delete the street, zone the buildings, force them to do what you want them to do, and then rebuild the street. And no one's the wiser. Tips and tricks. Tips and tricks on Rob's red hotspots. Right. Now what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Do I have like a cool paving thing? You know, I've been wanting to use these billboards, and I just thought of a cool place where we might be able to put one. Yeah, we're gonna. I'm gonna try as much as possible to basically just expand the city outward from this tile, and just go into other tiles when I need to like solve demand issues, and at this point just kind of gradually expand it. And then once we get to, I guess I can kind of cycle through these. There's a few different options. I already placed one somewhere. I just don't remember where. What's that one say? I'm just pressing tab at random. Oh, it's a tied one. Okay, fine, whatever. It's kind of annoying to have like real world brands in there. But it's also cool to have billboards in your city. So thank you to Tide for sponsoring this video. Anyway, so that's kind of cool. And then I wanted to see now here if I have any kind of paved lots that aren't just those industrial ones. And I kind of feel like the answer might be no, but it also might be yes. And as usual, if you guys have some suggestion for like open paving lots and stuff like that, I'd like to get some more of those that aren't just like the vanilla one. Because I get really tired, or just any park mods in general, I'm open to suggestions. I get very tired of the vanilla parks. Maybe that's probably part of the reason why I don't build them a lot. Okay, we're just gonna go with the basics, unfortunately here, for the sake of continuing this video and not just. Let's use medium plaza and then surround it with other shit. Yep. Okay, that looks cool. Yep, just a big open plaza in front of the train station. Kind of like that train station in the east of Paris that has that big square. What is it? Oh, what's it called? Someone will say. Yeah, and now I'm going to build a neighborhood that kind of centers around this road. A fairly small neighborhood. I'm going to try and do something a little bit more interesting. Change up the grid pattern a bit. And just do it all with streets for now. Probably, let's do a little bit of maybe industrial immediately around the back of the station. I feel like people don't want to live, actually, like a little bit of industrial, like that much. Okay, just kind of hide the tracks from the public. This might, I have a feeling I might want to turn this into like a rail trench or something. I think it might be a great idea to do that. Yeah. I'm not going to do it for now, but it's a great project. So let's build the neighborhood. We need to do some zoning. I can't just like endlessly redesign transportation. I mean, I can, but that's just kind of a never-ending thing if I keep doing it. There will be crossings and stuff and everything like that, but for now I'm just going to kind of wall this off like this and make sure I'm building the right type of industry here, because I have not like tax banned, I have not like fleeced ordinary industry in this tile. I'm just not building it. And there we go. Now, there's not much space for much kind of fancy neighborhood design in this tile. I should have this street here should cross the city for sure. So let's just do that now, so we get a sense of where that falls. There we go. Perfect.
What's this? What's the point of that fire station? Whatever. I'm not even, just not even gonna. All right, and then this can be like a big plaza for sure. Again, let's see if there's any. Oh, I know what we can do. We can play around with the new network add-on mod. We can play around with the new roundabouts. There's like single tile roundabouts and shit. Mm, yeah, this is not what we need. There's a few more of these, but they're basically they're basically for avenues. They don't really work for streets. But there's some very cool ones. Yeah, okay. And then there's these new ones, which I'm not going to place here because they're not going to do single tile roundabouts. Interesting. Flexible roundabouts. Interesting. Road to street, road to roads. Why are there only 3? Huh, interesting. Well, that's not what we're going to use, but cool. Very cool to know about. So I could do like one of these with a one-way road. But, oh, I might just do that. No, I like the idea of a bigger one. Okay, let's do, yeah, I like the idea of a bigger one. That does look nice. It does look nice, but it's a bit too small for such a major crossing. I just wonder if there's like I'm almost wondering if there's like a way we can make these roundabouts look a little bit less square. Like, will this, oh. Interesting. Okay, now I'm just losing it here, but just curious. I can, whoa. Okay. So it is possible to make this into, I mean, I say that, but oh man. Um it's not, okay, yeah. Uh okay, so that's not really what I had intended. Are they all the same distance apart? Yeah. That was interesting though, making that little circle. I'm kind of in a goofy mood this evening as I'm recording this episode. So, it does seem to, I don't know if this is different than the other ones we've made though. Just I'm trying to do different like drag patterns and see if we can get a different result here than what we normally get to make a more interesting thing. The fuck? Interesting. Yeah. Can I just like no. No. Okay. We have to redo it like that. All right. I don't know why it does these two differently, but that's okay. I'll just redo them. This. Oh, I went the wrong way, didn't I? I think it just corrected itself. I think traffic's moving the right direction. Okay, and does that look, that's just probably not any different. The corners to me look a little bit different. I have one of those over here, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, this one's got streets coming out of the corners though, so that's different. Just trying to see what different shapes. Like this here, it also has streets coming out of the corners. Okay, well. Alright, whatever, we'll leave it. I'm not gonna obsess over it for now. I am just gonna drop a medium park into it. Or large, or whatever one fits in there. I think it's, oh, it's large, isn't it? Yeah, I need large. And okay, so that is going to be yet another square. Then let's
let's do a series of how many tiles is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's have the neighborhood crossed by a street like that. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should do. Maybe not. Maybe we'll leave that residential. Now, I was thinking. Like, I want to have. Could have like a street. How wide is this? Oh, this is only 4 tiles. Ew. It's kind of messy. Rather unfortunate dimensions. Yeah, because at this point, okay. Try one of these, some of these like single tile or I want to put some roundabouts in. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Start by just play around with these different roundabouts. That is just not a roundabout. Interesting. Oh, is there a one-way, a draggable one-way street, or is there a? No. There should be a one-way street here. Can I do something with that? Probably not. I'm not a huge fan of well, it's not that I'm not a huge fan. It's just that like I tend to shy away from using these because they can turn all of your streets into different streets. There is a one-way street though, somewhere here. I know I've seen it. Weird, I thought there was a one-way street. Weird. Okay. That's also, like, why am I not getting the... Oh, I need to use the... Yeah. That's fine. One-way road it is. Here we are. Do at least a couple of these, and we can put parks in the middle of them. Parks in the middle of them, and yeah, that's fine. Another one, maybe like here-ish, and then I will fix up the zoning. It's going to be kind of tighter zoning than I usually do, but we might as well have some kind of different looking and feeling neighborhoods. Even within a fairly standardized grid design, having a little bit of variation here and there and spending a little bit more time zoning sometimes is certainly nice. Should probably actually leave this open. Okay, and then we'll do this. I gotta put some bus stops in, although I don't think there's gonna be buses in this little area here. I think the buses are probably going to be on the main road. And I want this to, yeah, okay, we're gonna have to do that little trick again here, where I delete this and zone and then put it back. My idea was to try and not have the, I didn't want to have the lots face industrial lots. Something I occasionally try and pay attention to in this game is, first of all, when I do street design, I like to, the tendency in SimCity 4 is to like make a square block and then fill it like this is a residential block and this is a commercial block, for example, right? But in real life, when you do a street design, you zone on either side of the street. You don't make a square and then zone the inside of it. It's the either side of the street that you're choosing. So in real life, because when you walk down a street, if it's commercial on one side and residential on the other, it's a bit weird. Sometimes it's mixed on both, but like it's not that common that you see a street that has industry on one side of it and residential on the other. So, whereas like having the backs of residences on a street that kind of covers off the industry is semi-functional. I understand that this is not an efficient street design in the game, but I'm not that worried about that. And then we've got this kind of bit here that I can fix. Let's just do that. We can put a lot here. There we go. And maybe a park in this corner here. I guarantee you guys I will absolutely not be spending this much time on other neighborhoods, but every once in a while, every once in a while. And let's just grab one of these, let's use one of these, where are my industrial filler lots? I'm doing it. I think that's gonna be cool. Just put an industrial filler lot there. Right. That looks pretty good. And then I imagine that the main artery here will be, wait a second here. Oh, I've done this wrong. These have to be 3 tile for sure. I imagine that the main artery is going to be maybe commercial, but we'll see. Probably. Yeah, this goes like that. That's fine. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of a neat design. A little bit cramped in towards the end there, but also the four width blocks are kind of neat. One of the things that's interesting about SimCity 4 is that a lot of these buildings will build, like these buildings here will build on a 4 tile, or on a 2 by 2 square or whatever. They just won't have their parking lots. Which is interesting because, like, the city where I live, for example, buildings don't have parking lots. Like in Montreal and in a lot of New York, like buildings don't have very few buildings have their own parking. You park your car on the street, or you pay for a garage if you're rich. So this definitely should be a commercial street because it sort of leads up to the train station. I mean, it definitely leads up to the train station. And I'll just leave it at that for now. I'm gonna do the rest. Residential. Yeah, I do like these little. Oh, I didn't put parks in the actual roundabouts. Let's do this for now. Might find something interesting to put in there eventually. If you guys have park recommendations, though, like by all means, really do. I'm very curious because I've found a few over the years, but have never really quite gotten in the habit of downloading them. So, do I want to just? This should probably. I don't want to go diagonal with a street. Let's just do that for now. Okay. And I don't think I'm gonna get too creative with this whole area here. But yeah, I gotta find a use for those 1 tile roundabouts. I really would like to at some point. I could do a similar thing where I try to avoid, yeah, let's try and do that. Let's try to avoid having the residential housing have frontage on the railroad tracks. Let's try and give them 3 tiles on either side as well. 1, 2, 3, like that. This can connect up like that, actually. For now. Yeah. And then we go with the high densities. Yeah, everything's correct. And then this can go along here. I do find that in most cities, areas with a lot of rail do tend to have industrial around them, even if you go to industrial or kind of like low-end commercial light manufacturing and stuff. And then I'm going to have to actually delete this road again to make the zones do what I want them to do, which is fine. Yeah, like I said, you know, you will not see me going into this much detail for future neighborhoods on a reliable basis, but sometimes change of pace. Last episode we just did highways. There will be other episodes where we just do highways. That's for sure, because it's a can of worms. And I also like, so I've been doing the Twitch streaming stuff every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And I had initially mentioned that I might sort of do work on Honestville in those episodes, and if I do get like a steady following of you guys watching on Twitch and contributing, then I will hop over to Honestville and work on it on the Twitch, but on the Twitch stream. But for now, I'm actually mostly just working on another region. It's the Plantation Bay region that I've like created a fresh version of it, and I'm just experimenting with things. So it's just a chance for me to just play the game in a random way and build a similar city to what I'm doing here, but kind of test out the trajectory of that city and how well it builds, and get a sense of like what's in store for Honestville. So kind of neat. But yeah. Yep. I feel like this neighborhood needs one park somewhere in it. Maybe the middle. I can at least give them a park. That's a gigantic park, though. Is it, though? No, it's not that big. Do we have any, like, gifty things here? Got a cemetery to place somewhere on the fucking courthouse. You guys, I've started just ignoring those things lately because we've all seen them a million times, right? I'll start by putting a gazebo in here. Yeah, no. I need like one of the large guys. Large park. Green. Not plaza. Medium flower garden. Medium flower garden. There we go. Okay, and this is like an elegant city park. No sports allowed. Okay, but what do I want? These are actually randomized. There are like a few different. Boy, I don't build the small flower garden a lot, man. It's actually pretty nice. It's actually pretty nice. Yeah, see, they are a bit different. Are they? I say that, and then I look at them like, are they different? They have like different props in them and stuff, I think. I know that the small park has some variety. It's kind of hard to tell because these two are like twisted. Yeah, they've got different colored flowers, I guess. Those look like they're not even flowers. They're like colored shrubs. Yeah. What else? They can have the children can have a playground, but I don't want any sports in this park. Gazebo. Where's the medium park green? There is a little bit of variation when you click these. If you plot multiple ones, sometimes the trees will pop up in different areas. That's actually kind of cool, the way the medium park and the large park interact together. I haven't built any of the small parks in here either. Let's throw a couple of those in. Yeah, so if I build like, I'm going to do this quickly and then I'll just delete them, but if I build like a bunch of these, it's kind of interesting. Do they actually, I was under the impression that yeah, see, they have different trees, slightly different like props. The plazas also have like slightly different pavement, so you can place a bunch of them in a row and they do have differences between them. Actually, I kind of like that. They have different garbage cans. Like, what's that? Is that a mailbox? Like, is that where you go if you want to recycle? Like, all these are garbage cans, but like that's a recycle bin? Fuck. This game's crazy, man. Even the detail, even the Maxis stuff in this game is just, it's shocking. The details they thought of, you know? Oh, man. Well, there we go. Let's just box this in here. Fairly large park. I don't think the city has many parks of that size, so that's quite nice. That was worth spending a few minutes doing. This neighborhood is going to be a little bit bus starved, I think. Just zone the artery first, because otherwise it's going to always prioritize the artery as I'm zoning the rest of the neighborhood. What have I been doing with bus stops? Kind of, these blocks are all kind of small, and so the bus stops are all fairly close to everything in the blocks, but I think ultimately what we're going to need here is just another cross street, just bisecting this neighborhood. Like, here-ish. Like maybe here? Oh, I'm so sad when I look at those street names. I spent so long doing that street naming thing, and then realized that I was just fucking them up and deleting them, and it's unfortunate, but it's not gonna work. Let's put it that way. I don't really think it's gonna be very practical for me to go and rename a bunch of streets like that. We'll see. We'll see if I can. If at some point, the thing is, I always change them, right? Like you always come back and and work on things and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to do a lot of street naming. I'm sure that some of you guys have like made really great street recommendations, and I put them in, and then they've disappeared afterwards. And I was aware that that's a thing. It's just that like it's sort of not viable for me to be that careful about making changes to the city. They're kind of hard to see when you're zoomed out too, so you can easily just like change the direction, like change a street up, and then what did I pressed M. What is oh, that's hilarious. The M is the hotkey for ferry, I guess. Weird. You know, M for ferry. Yeah. I really wish the hotkey for bus stop was better. It sucks. It involves like alt control something I don't remember. It's too many buttons, too many keys to make it faster. So, because that's the one thing, man. When you build these neighborhoods, it's all about the bus stops. I think my cell phone is on like an endless GPS signal lost loop, and it's been saying that. And I don't know, I can't tell whether you guys will be able to hear that in recording, but like while I'm recording this, every once in a while, like the Google Assistant is just telling me that my phone is not doing GPS. It's like, I don't know. I put some driving directions in it earlier, and I think it still thinks I'm in the car. So it's been a few hours since I've not been in the car. And that's hilarious. But yeah. Right. This street doesn't have buses. Let's make sure. What was I thinking putting a fire station there? What was the idea? Oh, I see. I just covered the whole region with... Oh, I sort of covered the whole region, and I didn't put one here. Funny. Okay. I don't know if that police station covers the whole region either. I should check. I never checked. Let's just put a large fire station here. Okay. That mostly covers it. And I'll just put like a couple small guys in there or something. But yeah, I think some like back in like I don't know episode 1 or something. I was like I'm just gonna place all the fire stations for the whole region. And yeah, so that police station pretty much covers the whole area. I will put like two or three kind of neighborhood stations at some point. Maybe if we get some crime hotspots, we'll overlap and we'll do overkill. We'll go over capacity for police, just for just for the sake of realism and stuff. But because of the large radius mod, I'm now going to get the you don't have a jail warning. Although I think that this big police station, where'd it go? Okay, whoa. This big police station here has jail cells. Ooh, yeah. It's got 288 jail cells, so we probably won't need jail cells. Let's unpause. It's been a while since we unpaused, huh? I don't want to zone too much commercial because I do want to have some retail go into the neighboring cities. I don't want there to be no commercial in the neighboring cities. They don't function very well. I wonder if this industry will develop. Probably. There's enough size 2 buildings for it to develop. I don't see why it wouldn't. What? Oh, I didn't give them water. Fuck! I don't like it when this happens because often the buildings they build as low density, and then they take a long time or they never convert to the higher density. Which I started doing in this city at the beginning and then promptly realized was just a bad plan. This whole central area is going to be medium density, and then certain areas I will upgrade to high density. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to deny a lot of commercial to. I'm going to deny a lot of commercial to the like neighboring wards, like especially offices. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of commercial in this tile, and there's going to be increasingly less residential as I have to expand the commercial. That has been how this has worked out in the past. So this city will have a ratio of maybe 1-to-1 eventually of commercial and residences, and I'm going to try and mix it throughout the entire city so that it's truly like a mixed-use area. And then I will also, okay, I should maybe give these people some education. Yeah, and so that will, at that point, we will want to be putting, like once there's like a subway system and stuff, that's the point at which I will start doing high density stuff. Let's just at least give them an elementary school. We can put it by that park. That's kind of the bare minimum. I think I'll just stick to the elementary school for now, and maybe... What is my hospital situation in this town? Health. No, we're good. We're good. We're totally good. Okay. We're only at 75,000. Yeah, I definitely want to build up this city. We're just going to expand the city outward. See how it develops. Obviously, I'm forcing the... have I even done that in this region yet? God, I talk about that as though I was doing it last episode. I think I might have been doing that on Twitch. I'm getting confused. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tax... In the neighboring cities, I'm going to tax... If I haven't already done it, I'm going to tax high wealth, medium wealth commercial office, and high wealth commercial office. I'm going to put these taxes to max in the neighboring cities, so that the offices all develop in the central area and it creates kind of a central business district. And that it's a little bit of a cheat almost in a certain sense. I mean, it depends how you think about it, but basically I want my skyscrapers and stuff like that to develop into a downtown. And I want to see how that works, especially considering the fact that I've put the highway around the outside. One of the things in this game is that the skyscrapers like to build near the highway or near streets that have a lot of traffic. So anyway, we're going to see how successful I am at forcing some dense traffic to some dense office stuff to build here by essentially depriving the neighboring cities of it. And the neighboring cities I'll try and force their development to kind of stay in this range. So anyway, man, interesting. So I'm curious as to why I want to use up more of this demand here. I'm gonna basically fill up. I'm gonna keep doing this next episode. I'm probably gonna end this episode now because it's been quite a while. I was just hoping to wait until this neighborhood kind of properly developed. Oh, and I need to name those highways too. Yeah. Well, the industry's developed nicely for sure. We used up most of our demand. Jesus, it's just insatiable. I'm wondering whether my doubling mod is working. I think it is. It says that it works with the... Yeah, it is. Yeah. Almost 200 jobs in this place. Spleen testing. Man, the names are funny. Interesting. This is really filled out. And I guess we don't have that much in this tile. Yeah. Not a bad idea to have some industry kind of in the central city. Is it doing the thing where like the clock isn't advancing? Interesting. Yeah, also because I'm giving them education and stuff, it seems like the doesn't use up the low wealth demand. We'll see. One map thing I never look at is land value, because it just tends to be green everywhere. Anyway, I really must end this episode here. Let's just head out to the regional view quickly. And let's head out to the regional view quickly. And we will name those two highways. Next episode, I'll try to just keep developing. I mean, actually, it's looking quite funny right now with this jagged triangular development here. That's actually that's hilarious. I really did not even notice that that's what, I mean, I'm going to fill this all up. Okay, guys, I'm going to fill this all up right out to here. This whole area here I'm going to fill up. And then I'll fill up like this area, and we're really just going to fill out this tile. This whole tile can be filled out. Might want to think about like a large central park type thing or something. That could be cool. A cool thing to think about. We've got a few little neighborhood squares, but we should build a few over here. Big central park, maybe here-ish or something. And then a couple other little parks here, something like that. That would be interesting. And yeah, and then when we get out here, we'll start to once again kind of follow the terrain. There may end up being a bit of agriculture in these tiles as well, so I'm kind of holding off. I might get the spam going and try and get some agriculture in there if it's possible. I might not. We'll see. I might actually really have the agriculture just be on the edge of town here, like really way out here. We've got lots of space in this tile. All this. So we'll see. We'll see. Right, naming highways though. Two very cool highway recommendations. We have L. Sumets, who requested that a highway be named the Red Hot Highway, which I think is hilarious. I love it. Let's do it. I'm going to use this label because I don't want it to disappear. So let's use that for the highways for now, and maybe I'll use the normal label next time. And one more. I have one more. Victim 2077 requested that I name a highway Route C1 after a highway in Tokyo, apparently, which I should have looked at. I should have gone on Google Maps and looked at that. I will after I finish recording this episode. But be very curious to see that. So that was this highway here. Maybe this highway, the kind of part that goes out here, can be Route C1. But the thing is, if I name a highway Route C1, I'm probably gonna have to name probably gonna have to name another highway Route C2 and Route C3 and so forth, because that's how my brain works. There we go, Route C1. I'm gonna stick with that for now. Any name that's like a numbered system, like as well, can almost have two names. You know, like a lot of the interstates. You know, if you take, I don't know, like I feel like I-87 in part of the Bronx or something is called like the Major Deegan Expressway or something. Like a lot of numbered routes also have like names. So yeah, that's the thing too. Sometimes when we use numbered systems like that, like the numbered wards, these could eventually have names too, but they're numbered for now. Anyway, I've talked for probably way too long for this episode. Thank you all for your continued support for this channel. I will be back next Friday around noon or sometime like that. See you next time. Remember to subscribe and like the video. Ciao.